Southern Ontario, July 31st. So the last video about cars that shut off at stoplights and whatnot sparked some lively debate, which I enjoy. There was some good information in there and some that wasn't so good. And a couple of people slagged me. Well, hey, I've had a channel that's mostly politically orientated for 3.5 years now. Being slagged isn't something that concerns me. But let's look at a few more points. Someone suggested I don't know the difference between a hot and a cold restart. Well, there was one or two valid points made there. With all of the ECUs, electronic control units, in today's vehicles, a hot start will use considerably less fuel than a cold start. Absolutely. No arguing that. That it pays itself back in fuel consumption after a 15-second shutdown. Well, that's infinitely debatable in the sense that the battery has to recharge. This takes energy. If nothing else, there's that. Also, the battery's life expectancy is largely based, the lead-acid battery that starts the vehicle, is largely based on how many duty cycles it goes through, how many times it's drained, how many times it's charged. And this could be offset to a large degree by putting in a bigger battery. The manufacturers don't like to do that. A bigger battery costs more, but it also takes up space. It's all about the profile aerodynamic of the vehicle. I mean, in some vehicles, in the Chrysler 3000s, they put them in, you got to take the wheel off, down in the bottom there. Some of the Cadillacs, they put them in under the seat, in the passenger compartment, under the rear seat. There's a lot of reasons they don't like a bigger battery in the car. The manufacturers, that is. So, anyways. And then here in Canada, I'll make this point before I forget. I mean, more days out of the year than not, you're going to be running either the heat or the air conditioning. Both of which are not liking being the car shutting off, right? But to go back to the hot restart, a couple of people said, there's no wear going on there. You're mistaken cold from hot. You don't know anything. Well, I do know a little something, and I'll tell you this much. When the car restarts, yes, when it's hot, it's considerably less hard on the motor than it is a cold start. Yes, they are apples and oranges, not apples to apples, as someone said. But there's still more wear than when the car is running. This could be explained in an oversimplification. Let's say this round thing is your cam. When the motor is running, the cam is spinning, the oil is pumping. Again, an oversimplification. I'll say there's 5 molecules of oil separating that cam from its potential wear of touching the bearing, bushing that it surrounds it. When it comes to a rest, the oil is not under pressure anymore and it settles down. It's not in a state of dynamic balance. So there might only be 1 molecule there and not 5, separating it from its potential contact point. Again, a gross oversimplification. But it's real. And there's the potential that that 1 molecule, again, oversimplification, isn't quite enough to stop it from touching. Now that's not just going to shear it to pieces, but cumulatively over umpteen starts, yeah, that's the problem with startup. It's also dynamic balance. When the motor's running, not only is the oil mechanically pumped and pressurized, preventing this 1 to 5 molecule oversimplification, but there's dynamic balance. This could be seen if you open your hood, look at your serpentine belt. That's the belt that serpentines around all over the place, drives your alternator for your charging system, air conditioner, perhaps, and a host of other things. Open the hood, get your buddy to start the car, use your remote. You'll see the idler tensioners that keep the belt tensioned. You'll see them flap upon startup, and then they settle in where they just kind of move a little bit. And when you shut the engine down, you'll see the same thing. You'll see them do this. That's a visual representation of what's happening in your motor upon start and stop. You could also hear this if you put a stethoscope on it, or just something hard like a screwdriver, and touch it to your ear bone and to the motor. Carefully, you want to keep all your appendages in amongst those whirling parts. I shouldn't need to say that. You would hear it. You would hear, when the engine shuts down, some rattling and stuff, the cam chain tensioners, and there's all kinds of stuff moving around in there. And then the same deal upon startup, and then you can hear it, you can see it. And then we could argue further, just to beleaguer a point, like people said, well, you just put in a heavier duty or alternator and charging system. Well, that weighs more. Has anybody got it calculated in their figures that after 15 seconds, you're in a win with the car shutting off? Well, now you're just simply packing more weight. Weight takes fuel. Is that in anybody's equation? The engineers who want to justify things? There's a lot of reasons that I wouldn't want it in my vehicle. I see someone commented, I guess in the States you've got a whole bunch of rules and regulations I don't think we have here in Canada. Someone said it voids the warranty if you shut this off for any period of time. Well, you might want to bear that in mind if you own one and want to shut it off. I guess you want to check into that, right? Make sure you're not voiding your warranty. But anyways, I love a lively debate, so we'll see what the comments have to say now. Oh, there was a good link in there too about how the CAFE, I guess it's pronounced CAFE, rules and regulations based on going back to the oil crisis, where the government kind of dictates to the car manufacturers how they want the fuel mileage to, come down each year and stuff, and how that really doesn't work. It works the exact opposite. Well, when have we ever seen the government do that? Have something well intended? Gotta go.